This is Histories and Mysteries Uncovered. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jessica. And on this week's episode, Ashley is going to be talking about the kidnapping of Shannon Matthews. And I will be talking about serial killer Herbert Mullin.
Oh, never heard of him.
Me neither.
Huh?
He's not
Killer?
good.
Oh, okay. Well,
Do
I
you see
figured
this
he's a serial killer.
scratch on my face?
Not really.
Like right here.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
My sister's dog got me.
Oh, no.
We were just playing, and
Yeah.
he's this pug, and she never clips his nails. And he just got me like right in the face.
Oh, no.
Which is really funny because every time I ever make like a character in a video game or something, I always have like a giant scar down my face.
Now you match.
Yeah. So,
You know what we should do right at the top of our episodes? We should tell our lovely listeners that they can join our Patreon. For $3 a month. You get a sticker and a monthly bonus episode.
yeah.
So head
And
on
you
over to
get
Patreon and join us.
more of us. And it's not like we tell our normal stories.
Yeah, we do fun things. We get like
Yeah.
polls and see what you guys want to hear. And
So this month we're going to be reading embarrassing stories.
we did an Am I the Asshole episode.
Yeah. We've read some creepy Halloween stories.
We've also done regular stories.
Yeah. So
join us. It's fun.
it is fun. And I'm going to tell some of my own embarrassing stories.
Oh.
Like how I totally bailed in my parking lot at work yesterday because we had a huge snowstorm.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure there was someone in their car that was watching.
I'm going to tell one of my most embarrassing stories about being in middle school and having a hole in your underwear.
Loser.
I know.
So join us because it's super fun.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot. It's like a coffee. It's like you spend $3 on a coffee.
It's been more than $3 if you get
Spend
good
$3 to get more of us and you get bonus episodes.
and we're way better than a coffee. No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No.
We are. We totally are. We're super funny.
We are, but like I could not go without a coffee.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
My mom told me to go without coffee, and I was like, no, woman, because I'm going to go through withdrawals and I'm going to die.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah. If anybody came to me and said, listen, if you stop drinking coffee, you will add an extra 5 years onto your life, I'd be like, no, I'll just die early.
Yeah. Honestly.
Anyway, so I am doing the kidnapping of Shannon Matthews, and I've got my sources from the BBC, Crime Investigation, and The Sun.
Is it solved at least?
Yes.
Is it happy?
Kind of.
Like, is she found?
Maybe. We'll see. Keep
Ashley,
your pants on. Keep your pants on.
I can't. It's Pantless Tuesday.
Well, it's Wednesday. And I know
Pantless Wednesday.
Trash day tomorrow, so I had to put my trash out.
Oh, ours is on Monday.
Oh.
Yeah. We're better than you.
Yeah. Anyway, on February 19th, 2008, 9-year-old Shannon Matthews was supposed to come home after swim lessons, which were about a half a mile from her house, but she never showed up. Her mom immediately felt like something was wrong, and when little Shannon didn't show up by 6:50 p.m., her mom, Karen, called the police. West Yorkshire police started to immediately search for the 4'1" little girl. It quickly became a huge search. So Madeleine McCann, her kidnapping had just happened about a year earlier, and it was all over the news. So people were like highly charged about kidnappings. I mean, as you should be, right? But they called in 200 police officers for the initial search. Her mother was so worried and upset and said it was so out of character for her to not be home. She had never run away before, so she knew something bad had happened. Another officer came to Karen's house to console her and her boyfriend, Craig Megan, who had been with Karen for 3 years. Now, every article I read posted Craig Megan's age, but I could not find anywhere how old Karen is. So I'm thinking it had to be a pretty big age discrepancy because they said Craig Megan was 22. But I couldn't figure out how old Karen was. But in every single article, they mentioned Craig's age. So I feel like,
It's weird.
yeah, it was weird.
You you think that there'd be a little bit more info on that.
Yeah. And I could not find Karen's age or like what year she was born or anything. It was weird. Anywho, over the course of the search, over 1,700 people were questioned. The source said 1,700 motorists, which I found weird. So I just wrote people.
That is really weird.
No,
Maybe it's just because they had like an area blocked off and they wanted to question people going in
maybe.
and out.
Yeah, maybe. They searched over 1,800 houses, and eventually there were 250 police officers, 60 detectives, and 16 good boy doggos who were brought in to help with the investigation.
Oh,
They,
little
the
puppies.
puppies, they're doing their good jobs. They had helicopters, they had underwater search teams. It became the most extensive investigation since the Yorkshire Ripper 30 years ago. Who
Which
Jessica Riddish
Ashley,
was it me? I did this
I
last week too. I thought it
I
was
thought
you.
it was you. Because I'm pretty sure I did the Hollywood Ripper and then you did the Yorkshire Ripper.
Oh, okay, I did it. I
Ah,
have the memory of a goldfish, guys.
oh my gosh.
So as the day turned into night, everyone became very concerned for Shannon because the temperatures were below zero. Fog descended on the area, which made the search that much harder. And Karen went on the news pleading for her daughter to come home safe. The community came together to find this little girl. They created pamphlets in several different languages and handed them out. Some even took the bus to Leeds to pass out the pamphlets in malls, pubs, stores, in case she made it that far. The media heavily covered this case, with The Sun putting up £20,000 reward for Shannon's return. And 2 days later, with the help of other local businesses, the reward increased to £50,000. Oh, I accidentally muted myself. I'm back.
I was like, what is happening right now? Why are you speaking?
The police made a website for the missing girl, Shannon, and released all information they had, including the initial call to police by Karen, which I thought was kind of crazy, but
Kind of ballsy.
yeah. A few days later, Shannon still wasn't found. But Detective Superintendent Andy Brennan said that someone reported seeing her the day after she went missing around 9:15 a.m. a few streets away from Shannon's home. They also had reports that Shannon was seen between 6:30 and 7:30 playing in the field behind her school the day she went missing. One of the things that police found disturbing was that Shannon could not be found on any of the CCTV recordings, and apparently England has some of the most video surveillance in the world, which I thought was crazy.
So well, they have Interpol, right?
Oh yeah, that is them, isn't it? Or
Right?
is that Russia?
I thought the
No.
UK had Interpol
Yeah.
because that's like the Mission Impossible people and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
So without much to go on, police went to Shannon's house and searched her bedroom looking for anything that would help. While there, they found writing on Shannon's bedroom wall, and what they assumed was her writing. It looked like her writing that she wanted to go live with her estranged father, Leon Rose, instead of with her mother and all of her half siblings. It was also found out that Shannon had told some of her friends that she wanted to run away. Leon, her dad, had apparently ceased his weekly contact with Shannon the summer beforehand due to problems with Karen's extensive family, which included children by 5 other men. Which
Holy
is,
guacamole.
yeah, that's exactly how the paper wrote it. And I wasn't a huge fan. It was almost like they were like slut shaming her.
That's kind of what it sounds like, 100%.
And it almost was like they were defending Leon, which I'm sorry, that is still your child. I don't care if you're mad that your ex has other children. Like, you don't cease contact with your child just because of that.
Yeah, that seems really odd. And
Yeah.
then why would she want to go live with her dad if he's ceasing contact?
Yeah. I didn't like it. But anyway, so they all thought that maybe Shannon had run away to get to Leon's. So he actually put out a statement with the press saying, if you can hear me, if you can get to the nearest phone box, ring 999, that's their 911, and tell them your name, they'll be able to come pick you up. So he was pleading to, like, if you were on your way to my house and like you didn't make it all the way, get help. Karen had also made several pleas for the safe return of Shannon. She said that it had torn her family apart and she couldn't sleep at night. She even suggested to the media that it may be someone she knew trying to hurt her. And when the media asked, well, who do you think it should be? She said, no idea at all. All my friends and family have been checked out. There are no sightings of her things there at all.
The thing that's wild to me is that she's not being seen on any of the CCTV cameras.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, with no leads in the case, the media kind of lost interest. They were still reporting on developments of the Madeleine McCann case, though, but stopped putting too much effort into Shannon's case. And this brought up a class injustice that Madeleine McCann came from a very, very rich family, and Shannon's family was by no means rich. They were far less financially stable. To further prove this, in an interview, Karen was asked how many kids she had and by how many fathers, and her boyfriend was asked if he was ever violent towards her. Not by the cops, by the media.
What relevance
Yeah,
do you have that that needs to be a question?
yeah. So it definitely shows like the class differences, right? Then on March 14th, a downstairs neighbor tipped off police that she suddenly heard a child's footsteps in the apartment above her, and they were only 1 mile away from Shannon's home. Police went in and they found Shannon 24 days later, hidden inside the base of a bed, alive. She was
What?
she was tethered and drugged, but she was alive.
What?
Yeah. They also found a bungee of sorts with kind of a loop around the end, and it looked like he would put it around Shannon so like she could still walk around but couldn't escape. So kind of how you would like hook a dog to a leash and let him walk
Sorry,
around your
who
yard.
had her?
I haven't said yet.
Oh, okay.
The apartment was owned by 30-year-old Michael Donovan, who just so happened to be Craig Meehan, Karen's boyfriend's uncle.
Oh, grody.
He was arrested and charged with kidnapping, false imprisonment, and committing acts intended to pervert the course of justice. Apparently, that's a pretty common charge over in England, basically just saying like you got in the way of an investigation.
I thought you were gonna say false impregnant
Oh, no,
instead of
imprisonment.
imprisonment,
Yes.
and I was gonna be so mortified.
No, there's no sexual part to
Okay,
this
good.
case. Yeah, no, she was fine.
So, was it the uncle or the boyfriend?
Put your pants on, I'll get
Oh, I can't.
there. No, no, no. Okay. He was given a trial date for November 11th, and he did try to die by suicide in April 6th, but he did survive. Shannon was placed under police protection for 72 hours and was looked at by doctors. Police questioned her in 10-minute intervals for several weeks, which I think is great. They didn't like exhaust her. And police found out that she was allowed to roam the apartment and play video games, and she had a list of rules given to her. The list read, you must not make any noise or bang your feet. You must not go near the windows. You must not get anything or do anything without me being here. Being spelled BEEN instead of BEING. Keep the TV volume low, only up to an 8 or lower. You can play Super Mario games and you can play some DVDs and you can play the CD music. After questioning, Michael dropped a bomb. He said that Sharon's mother, Karen, was in on the kidnapping plan, but Karen adamantly denied it. But she had reacted kind of weird when it was announced that Shannon was found. Everyone around her was jumping for joy, and one of Karen's old friends, Natalie, recalled, quote, "When we were told a girl had been found, we were all so relieved. We were shouting and screaming. But Karen was just so blasé about it." 3 weeks after Shannon was found, Julie, who was now taking care of Shannon, because they were kind of looking into Karen ever since Michael had said that. So Shannon was put in the foster care system over there. So Julie had called Shannon with Natalie and another police officer, and they say, "Hey, we want to talk to you." And she said, "Friendship doesn't end if you make a mistake or tell a lie. We need to know the truth." So they put a theory to Karen. They said, "Okay, is this what happened? Did you want to leave Craig and asked Michael to pick up Shannon, and then you were going to join her with the other kids, but at the last minute, um, but that doesn't make sense. Craig asked to appear. She was going to join in with the kids, but at the last minute, when she was going to tell Craig, she bottled it. So at the last minute, when she was going to tell Craig that she was leaving him, she didn't." Karen drew in the biggest intake of breath I've ever heard and said, "Yes, that's right."
But it just doesn't make any sense why she would be tied up then and not have to make noise and follow rules. And
Yeah, right? Detective Constable Christine Freeman was also there, and she started making notes of Karen's confession, and then she arrested Karen. Now, if you talk to Matthew, he said that the actual plan was for him to let her go in a few days, find her, I did air quotes for those listening, then bring her to the police, get the reward money, and split it with Karen, which seems way more feasible with the tying up and the rules and not wanting to be found. And how Karen was disappointed when she was found in the house because she was supposed to be found and get the reward money.
that's so gross.
Yeah.
But why the uncle? That just doesn't make any sense.
Maybe he was hard up for money and he just needed some money. I don't know.
Maybe.
Shortly after this, Karen's boyfriend, who they do not believe was a part of this plan at all, was arrested for child pornography. Like a lot of it, like bad stuff. Not that any child pornography is good stuff, but like real bad stuff. But he didn't really serve much time in jail because he was remanded, and the time he served between he was arrested and his trial date was the amount of time he was given sentence wise, so he was let go. Karen and Michael were found guilty and sentenced to, what do you think, Jessica?
2 years.
How many?
2.
Oh, 8 years.
That's better.
I didn't think that was enough, so I thought you'd like way overestimate it. I'd be like, no, it's only 8 years, so you ruined it. But
Well, I'm sorry because I have no faith in the legal system, so
yeah,
I thought that they were gonna give not
yeah,
enough years. I was kind of thinking of like the Brock Turner thing.
yeah. Well, don't you worry because Karen was out in 4.
Of course she was.
Yeah,
Good
it,
behavior.
yeah. So she was out in 4 years in 2012. She was given a new name and now lives somewhere in the south of England as a born again Christian. Shannon, who is now 25 years old, was given a new identity and a new family. During Karen's trial, it was told to the court that Shannon had regular nightmares and needed psychotherapy sessions. So we don't obviously know what happened to her. She had a new identity and a new family. So obviously, you know, we don't know. We don't need to know. She can have her own private life. And, I hope the best for her. In 2012, Matthew Donovan was again arrested after acting bizarrely while sitting on the bench for 6 hours a day. And so he was arrested for that. And then he got out, and nobody knows what happened to him after that.
Really weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that, my friends, is the kidnapping of Shannon Matthews.
I was trying to unmute myself. That's wild.
Yeah. Could you believe the mom was in on it? That's insane. Can you imagine doing that to your child, drugging them and hiding them in a bed frame just to get money?
No. No, I couldn't. I don't like it when I have to work past. I don't like it when I have to work late and I don't get to see her
Yeah.
before bed. Like I cry.
Yeah.
So, no.
24 days she was kept at this guy's house,
That's
drugged,
insane.
and yeah. So I hope she's like super, super rich, doing the best job she could ever think of in a super loving relationship. That's what I hope.
Right? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I hope so too. That's awful.
Yeah.
So awful. I am very thankful though that nothing
Yeah.
sexual happened to her.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank God.
But poor girl.
Yeah. I
You were
can't
out
imagine.
there, Shannon. Shannon?
Yes.
Yes. We hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you.
Yeah,
I had
let's
never
hear.
heard of that.
I had like I feel like maybe I heard it on another podcast at some point, but I I googled like crime with twists, with like the biggest twists, and this case came up. So
Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
So let me
All
hear
right.
about your serial killer.
I don't want to tell you.
I bet it's bad. Serial killers are never like Dexter.
It it's very heavy into the mental health.
Okay.
So content warning. It's pretty graphic in some spots, so content warning. I used Murderpedia and all that's interesting.
You know it's bad when you use Murderpedia.
Mm-hmm.
They always have really bad ones on there, and they get really graphic in detail.
Yeah, I didn't use some of the graphics,
Yeah.
so we'll
Okay.
we'll, we'll get into it.
Let's do this.
Herbert Mullin, with a name like that.
I was just thinking that. Sorry to all the Herberts out there.
He anticipated a large-scale earthquake in 1972 close to his Northern California home. And he had a gruesome solution to fix that issue. Herbert, a confirmed schizophrenic who had heard voices in his head warning him about the earthquake, believed that he could prevent this fatal occurrence by murdering a ton of people.
Oh no. Quick side story. I follow a guy on TikTok who is diagnosed with schizophrenia, and it's really interesting the things he does. Like one time he thought he uses his phone a lot, so to help him figure out what's real and what's not. So he thought there was a person following him, and so he would record it and then watch it back so that he knew if there really was a person there or not.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he really uses that to help with his different hallucinations that he is medicated, but he still hallucinates a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I can't imagine living with a disease like that. That'd be so
No.
hard. Or
There's a
disorder.
girl on TikTok too, and her and her husband are both schizophrenic.
Oh, okay.
And she tells the funny stories of things that she like does
Yeah.
and sees or doesn't see. And
Oh my god.
there is a big joke going around that she didn't actually have a husband because we never saw him in videos.
Oh.
So people are like, do you actually have a husband?
Oh no.
So it's fascinating.
It is. It really
But
is.
I
That's
couldn't
a disorder
imagine.
I wouldn't that sounds awful.
No, because it's terrible
It's
because
terrifying.
it is not knowing what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't
Like you can
imagine.
never get a full grasp on reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
Kudos to all of you that are out there living like that though. Like couldn't imagine.
Strong, strong people.
Yeah. But unfortunately, this is not one of those cases. And he murdered 13 people in late 1972 and early 1973, causing widespread concern and cementing his odd notoriety as the earthquake murderer.
Oh.
Yeah. He was born in Salinas, California on April 18th, 1947, and he had a typical childhood with loving parents. When he received his high school diploma, he was deemed most likely to succeed.
Did you get anything when you were in high school?
No,
Oh, I got best friends with me and my best friend who I don't talk to anymore, but we were like inseparable in high school. Actually,
that's
from elementary
awesome.
to high school. Her name was Mallory. She's my bestest
Yeah,
friend in the whole world. We don't talk anymore, but I wish her all the best. Anyway,
nice. Are you done?
maybe.
Okay. But things had a severe downturn after high school, unfortunately. And some specialists speculate that the reason for this was that his best friend died in a horrible accident. And they think that that's kind of what catapulted him and started up his schizophrenia.
Oh no, that's so sad.
Yeah. Then, on top of all that, he took LSD and cannabis for the first time at the age of 19, and he quickly started using them often. According to reports, his drug usage made his mental disease worse, as it does.
Yeah, I can't mess with that brain chemistry.
No. And at the age of 21, so 2 years later, his family started seeing symptoms of schizophrenia. Despite his voluntary admission to a nearby hospital for treatment, he was given a poor prognosis and left after 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if someone gives you a poor prognosis, you're not going to have a lot of hope or a lot of motivation to work towards anything.
No. Over the next few years, he was admitted to multiple hospitals and programs, both intentionally and unintentionally, but he neglected to attend group therapy sessions and take his prescribed medication. His outlook changed from poor to grave. Around that time, he started telling his coworkers that he thought he heard voices, and 3 different doctors had classified him as schizophrenic by the time he was 23 years old.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Still, nothing appeared to be helpful, and he took on numerous personas trying to find himself, redefining himself as a Mexican wearing a sombrero, an amateur boxer, a yoga practitioner, and a hippie. The fads never lasted long, though, and then he started his strange quest for the newest path to mental clarity, which was, unfortunately, murdering people.
Oh, jeez.
It was the anniversary of the disastrous 1906 San Francisco earthquake on Herbert Mullin's birthday. And as his schizophrenia grew worse, he started to have strange ideas about this fateful day. A mathematician made a prediction in 1972 that a severe earthquake will strike Northern California on January 4th, 1973, due to the San Andreas Fault. Already associating his birthday with earthquakes, Mullin's inner voices insisted that a human sacrifice would stop this catastrophe.
Ugh. That's
Mullen
all I
subsequently
have. That's what I unmuted myself for. Ugh.
there. Mullen subsequently clarified, saying, "Throughout recorded human history, we have used murder to keep our continent safe from catastrophic earthquakes. To put it another way, a minor natural disaster prevents a huge one."
Mm-mm. That's not
Like,
really how that works.
no. But it is recorded all throughout history, human sacrifice trying to prevent. big things from happening.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you can see.
Doesn't make
Yeah.
it right.
No.
Herbert Mullin began his murderous rampage on October 13th, 1972, when he killed Lawrence White, a homeless man, with the intention of human sacrifice. Seeing White trying to hitchhike on the side of the road, he killed him with a bat.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty violent.
So he had basically pretended that he had car trouble, pulled to the side of the road. Lawrence offered to help, and then he was bludgeoned to death with the bat.
Wow.
Subsequently, Mullin declared that he thought White was the biblical Jonah and that White had telepathically asked Mullin to kill him in order to save the others.
It's
So,
what he did is obviously awful, but it's so sad the mental turmoil,
mhm,
the mental disorder that he's struggling with. I mean, he's so far gone in it.
yeah, it's awful. Next was Mary Guilfoyle, who was a college student who had been hitchhiking on October 24th, so only 10 days later, and she was his second victim. After stabbing and mutilating her, Mullin left her body parts all over the roadside.
Oh my
So
God.
he's really escalating and very quickly.
Yeah. Does it ever say like how many people he thought he had to kill, or does he just get out of control?
He just got out of control and he ended up killing 13 people.
Okay.
On November 2nd, Mullin went to a Catholic church to confess his sins to Father Henri Tomei. Believing the priest had also offered himself as a sacrifice, Mullin beat and stabbed the priest to death.
Oh God.
Mullin ran away after the attack, and Tomei died of bleeding to death in the confessional.
Oh,
Yep.
it's interesting to me, and well, no, because he had time with Lawrence, that he was way more violent with the woman so far than he was with these two men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just because she was easier. She could have been smaller frame.
Yeah, well, at first my thought was, well, maybe he had more time with her, but with Lawrence stopped on the side of the road, he could have.
And he was a homeless guy too, right? Like
Yeah,
you'd think that he would have not taken as much time with Mary because she was a student
yeah, yeah,
and she wasn't homeless. She wasn't just a vagrant. So
yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with homeless people.
no, it's just, crime of opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, absolutely.
And like a lot of serial killers do target homeless people
Yeah,
because a lot of the times they don't have family and they won't be missed.
yeah. And whereas, like with a student, she would probably quickly be
Yeah,
missed.
and be reported.
Yeah,
But at the same time, he killed the Catholic priest. Like that's gonna be
yeah, true.
pretty
That's gonna be quick as
hard
well.
to
Yeah,
hide.
he's just all over the place.
Yeah. Just a lot of crime of opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
Then he really escalated when he murdered 5 people in one day on January 25th, 1973.
Oh my gosh.
There had been no earthquake, and he was even more certain that his murders were averting the calamity
Mm,
because it was indicated that the earthquake was going to be prior to, right?
yeah.
On that day, he murdered his longtime friend and his wife, followed by a woman and her 2 children in the home where his friend had previously resided. So it
Oh
was
my
just
gosh. He murdered children. That's awful. I mean, it's all
just
awful, but
just because they
gosh.
lived in a home that his friend used to live in.
Oh my gosh.
Now that he had 8 victims under his belt, on February 6th, he went to a campsite and murdered 4 teenagers at once. Mullin thought he had spoken to them telepathically and that they had granted him permission to kill them.
Oh God.
On February 13th, so just 7 days later, he was apprehended for the 13th and final time. The man's neighbor saw Mullin's license plate number and alerted the police after Mullin shot and killed the man in his front yard during the middle of the day. Mullin did
Wait.
not.
Oh, the neighbor. The neighbor. I was like, how did he alert the police if he was shot and killed? The neighbor alerted the police,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. He didn't fight when he was arrested, and yeah, he just kind of went with them. He was tried for 10 of the 13 killings he committed, and he pleaded guilty to all of them. Furthermore, he attempted to represent himself,
Oh no, buddy.
but the judge determined that he did not have the mental capacity to do so,
Yeah.
and he was assigned a public defender. Mullin attempted to fire this public defender, but the judge denied his request.
Yeah.
During the trial, Mullin discussed the voices he had been hearing, the ones ordering him to kill, and he called the messages die songs.
Ooh, I
Isn't that
hate that.
heebie-jeebies?
Yeah, that's super. Yeah.
Despite this, prosecutors presented evidence indicating premeditation in the crimes, demonstrating that Mullin was legally sane and he was convicted of all 10 murders. He was condemned to life in prison and it was still incarcerated at the Mule Creek State Prison in Ione or Lone, California. I don't fucking know. I think it's Ione, California. Ione. Ione.
Sure. I've never
I
heard
don't
of
know.
it. Yeah.
He was eligible for parole in 2020 despite being previously denied. And on August 18th, oh, which is kind of interesting. He killed one of his victims on August 18th.
Hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, give me one second,
Yeah.
because August 18th, August 18th. Swear August 18th was in here previously, because I was like, oh, that's my cousin's birthday. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it was in here earlier,
Hmm.
but he died. On August 18th, he died at the age of 75 years old, and it
Oh.
was of natural causes.
Oh, that's a rough one. What do you think about him being found mentally sane
Um,
or legally sane, I guess is the term.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know because clearly he had issues,
Yeah.
but they were able to prove that he premeditatively
Yeah.
planned these. And that does take some sanity.
Yeah, but the reason he was doing it, and he thought, I mean, if you believe everything he says, he thought that they were telling him that he could, like, giving them permit. I'm not saying he should have gone free. I think he should have been guilty by reason of insanity and gone to like a mental health facility type jail.
But at the same time, someone in his mental capacity wouldn't usually have the means to plan stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of it would have been like a crime of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But with, his first victim, Lawrence White, he did plan that.
Yeah.
He saw him. He said, oh, I'm not just going to get out of my car and murder him. I'm going to pretend
Yeah.
that I'm having car trouble, lure
Yeah.
him over here. Right. And then even with Mary, she was hitchhiking.
Yeah.
So he would have been like, oh, this is a great opportunity. I'm going to pretend like I'm going to offer her a ride.
Yeah.
And then with the priest, he's confessing. He's, all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, I'm going to murder this guy.
Yeah.
I understand that a lot of the times, like, I understand that he was
Yeah.
mentally insane. He did have problems. But I do think that with the premeditation, that is a problem.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it does have the premeditation, obviously. But I think the reason behind it is still, to me, proof that he didn't necessarily know what he was doing was wrong. Like, I think he knew that, like, killing, I don't even know if he knew that, because he thought that he was doing it to save people, and he thought that those people allowed him to do it, were telling him to do it. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Again, that's if you believe everything he says. The thing that is hard for me to wrap my head around is how he mutilated, was it Mary?
Yeah.
That's hard for me to.
And it was even worse on Murderpedia. I didn't want to go into the details.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's the thing. I find that the way he killed these people was just very specific.
yeah,
And he went from bludgeoning with a bat to stabbing
yeah,
and like dismembering
yeah.
to, shooting somebody in the head in broad daylight.
Yeah, that's a hard one. It's just
So,
hard. Yeah, I mean, I think he should have been locked up in a mental facility. I don't think he should have been locked up in a prison where he had the possibility of parole, Because with something like that, if you're not medicated, he's just going to go right back to being a threat to society.
yeah. But he didn't get out.
He didn't.
So,
Yeah. Whew. All right, you want to break out one of those joke cards for us?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Did you hear about the invisible man who married an invisible woman?
No.
Their kids were nothing to look at either.
Oh no. That's so mean. Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
I cut my finger shredding cheese. Same, bro. But I think I may have greater problems.
So bad.
I love one. I had a dream my ship sank in an ocean of grape soda. It took me a while to figure out it was only a fantasy.
That's also very stupid, and I like
All
it.
right, and one more.
Okay.
A termite walks into a pub and asks, "Is the bartender here?"
That's funny.
I don't get it.
Like tender, like meat tender is the bar tender here. Like, because he's gonna eat it because he's a termite. He's gonna eat the bar.
Oh, yeah, it's 2 words.
Well, if you want more of this lovely sense of humor, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon.
And if you would like to rate and review us, you can do so on Apple and Spotify.
Yay! We thanks for listening, and we look forward to bringing you 2 new stories next week.
Bye.
Bye.